how X the service. Okay, that's the second view. Let's check the next one. The next one is we need here we need a radio button contain these 3 buttons. Because we need to group these 3 buttons together, so we need to involve the radio group. Okay, so let's go back to the studio. Here I want to use a radio group. Okay, we need a radio group from here to here. This means below the survey question, I need to add the radio group. Okay, having the radio group, we need to add 3 radio buttons. More easy way is drag the radio button from here to here. That's quite easy. From here, the first button, and the second button, you can scroll down. So we have button 1, button 2, and the button 3. Okay, so far we have the 3 button within the radio group. Let's do the setting, the group, do the position. Oh, sorry. Let's undo. Actually, I want to remove the radio button. I want to remove this one. You know how to do the remove. Let's do the radio. Actually, maybe let me see. Actually we can go to the code mode. Actually, I want to set the margin is from here to here, and the top button should be below the service question. Okay, let's go back to the code mode. From here, I want to add a 2 constraint for the radio group. Okay, so the constraint is quite similar to this one. So let's simply copy the code here. I need to add 2 constraints. The left border to the parent, and the button constraint is below the previous one. Previous one is called service question. So let's change the service question. That's not its ID. Service question. Okay. The design mode. Wow, that's quite good. Okay, so the radio button is below the service question. Okay, and also we set the right margin here. Okay. And let's recheck the other setting. You can check here is the current setting in XML. You can check my slide. In my slide, I need to set the orientation. Actually, orientation is vertical. Make sure we can. By default, I think that's already the vertical. So the orientation, I use the search. Orientation is one. Orientation means the direction, how to arrange this radio button. I think that by default that's already vertical, so I still select the vertical. Okay. 它内定是垂直的，不过已经是垂直的。Okay, so that's for the radio group, and for each radio button, you can check my slider. I need to give the ID. Also for the radio group, I also give the ID. 这个也给它一个 ID 这 ID 呢叫做 tip option. Okay, and this one also give the ID. The ID name is called option. 20%. Global change. And the next one, 这个加一个叫做 option 18%. Okay. The third one 叫做 option 15%. Global change. Okay, and let's see the more setting. I hope the radio button should be wrap content, not match parent. So the match. That's quite minor setting. You can check my slide, okay? And here I also want to show the some test, okay? For example, I want to change the text. 改变它的文字啊，我想这个都没有什么特别技巧，好吧？好 ，we can change the text. The first one is amazing, 20%. Same. 好，这个。对。Second one 叫做 good, 18%. Same. This one. Final one is okay. That's 15%. Okay, so we have radio button and we have 3 radio button. Okay, so let's check the next slide. I want to add a switch here. So let's select the switch. Switch just shown here. Okay, you can simply drag the switch from here to the component tree or here, depending on you. Okay, for example, I want to drag from here to here. Okay, and I also want to set the margin from there. I set the constraint from here to here, and from here to here. Okay, that's a switch. Switch here, I want to let the switch cover the width, have the same size as have the same size of the screen. Okay, so we'll cover whole the horizontal space. 我想把这个左右给它拉长一点。For this purpose, we need to add another constraint from here to here. Okay, and set the width to be 0. 把这个设成 0. You will see it will cover of the same size as the screen. Okay, 这个是左右就会齐的，好吧 ？Okay, so that's a switch. So that's another. We have a button. Over here, I need to give the ID. 给一下一个 ID 给他。ID is called run up switch. Run up switch. Global change. Okay, and then I need a button. Here. Position under the buttons under here, doing the 2 constraint, and just like the switch, okay, I give another constraint and let the width to be 0. Let the width to be 0. So we will see the button will horizontally cover the same size as the screen. 左右就会跟萤幕一样宽的 ，OK， that's button. and we give the ID， 给它一个 ID 的名字。Calculate button calculate button mobile chain, and we have last view component, that's test view. So we need a test view from here to here. But this time we set the border from here to here, and from here under the button. OK， 好，我们再给它最后一个 ID tip result。And the content, okay, that's look great. And here I want to show the test. The test is a not test view. That's a tip amount. Okay, finally, let's check the slide. Let's try to run the egg. Although I don't do any I forgot to do the setting. Open the emulator. Okay, finally, you will see here we can do the typing. Edit our number here. Actually, I forgot to remove the test. Okay, I will remove the test later. And here we can do the selection. And actually, at beginning, I hope the amazing this option should be default one. Okay, that's why I do more checking. So here is the switch button, and a switch. Here is the button. I also forgot to change the test. Okay, so let's do the minor adjustment. 我们稍微再微调一下啊。这里 open the editor. The cost edit test. I don't want to show the test value. Okay, I just want to show the hint at the test. Okay, we will see the cost service become the gray color, so that hint message. And also the button. I want to change the button test to be calculated, right? So that's good. Button test. Button test. Button test here. Calculate. Okay. And also remember, I want to give the default option amazing to be the default one. Let's go back to the XML code mode. Let's check the radio button. Here, I want to give a default setting. Default settings are quite easy. You can check my slide. We just need to add a statement called Android. That's the check button. Okay, this means I want to set the default setting. The default is this one, option 20%. This one, that's the default setting. Let's rerun the app. Remember, we have 3 options, right? So I like the first one to be the default. So you can see we have the default option. So code of service here, hidden message, and then we can type the numerical value. 这样就可以输入数字了。And we can select the switch and click the button. Will show the number here. So later, as you know, we need to write a program code to retrieve the user input number. And based on the option selected here, we need to calculate the tip. And when the user click the button, we will show the final tip value here. 那这个就是写程式的那个重点了啊。Okay, so let's see how to write the program code. Before writing the program code, you know we need to retrieve or access some of the view component. For example, I want to access the button. I want to access the edit test. I want to access the test view. So we need to write a lot of segments like find view by ID, find view by ID several times. Right? So Kotlin provides another way called view binding. We can simplify this step. So let's open or enable the view binding. The first step is open the Gradle file. Okay, that's the first time we open the Gradle. And we need to open the second one. Build Gradle module level. Open this one. And from here, you can check my slider. We need to add such statement here. If we want to enable the view binding, we need to add the builder features view binding become the true. Okay. Builder feature. View binding equal true. Okay. Let's do the double check. Builder binding is true. Builder features. Okay. Okay. After the setting, remember to click the button sync to something like rebuild or okay. Okay, after resync, we can use a new way to access our view. Okay, we directly write the program code, and then maybe next time we can explain what's the view binding. The first thing is we need to change this line. Okay, we need to use a binding mixer to load our layout. Okay, so at the beginning we need to get the binding. We provide this statement, late, init var. Okay, this variable is internally is something like the class global variable. So we declare the variable here. Okay, and you can see here. The binding object, the data type is activity main binding. This name is coming from the layout name. Layout name is activity main. So we combine these two words. And the final word is the fix, otherwise the binding. Okay, that's auto-generated class. When you enable the view binding, the compiler will generate this class for you. Okay, and the late, maybe I will explain it next time. Okay, just to do the late initialization for the binding variable. Okay, so we need to change this line by using the binding. So the program code may look like this one. Binding. activity main the binding inflate and layout better. That's a fixed coding style. Just follow simple the program code binding.root. Okay, so that's a way to inflect. Mean I want to load my view from my layout file. Okay, using the binding, we need to write these two statements instead of this one. That's the original way. That's a new way. Okay. Okay. So here, as you know, here I want to get the button. Okay. So how do we get the button? Originally, we use a find view by ID, right? And having the binding, we can use this way. Binding. Remember, we access the button ID. The button ID is this one. Calculate button is our this one. In our main layout, go back to our main layout. Okay, we have button, right? Button. I want to access. I want to associate a click listener to this button. This button ID. Remember the ID. The ID is tips underscore. Oh, sorry, this one. The ID is calculate underscore the button. Using the binding name will become this one. 哦，它有一个转换 the translation translate to this one. Calculate no underline and the button B should be the uppercase 变成大写. Okay, that's the formal name. So here means our button. We need to set on click listener. Okay, when the user taps the button, we need to do something, and this something will be finish calculate tip. I will specify many things to do in this private function. Okay, so 要做的事情我通通都写在这里。So here is our onCreate method, and here is let's see. Here is a main activity. Here is onCreate. So after the onCreate, provide the private function, private on calculate the tip. Okay, so our major function call is here. Here we need to retrieve the user input number and calculate the tips. We need to type lot of program code here. Okay, to save the time, maybe I copy the program code here. I'm not sure. Can I copy the code here? Okay. Maybe there are some encoding the problem. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, that's looked great. Let's read through the program code. Okay. Let's see the first line. First line is I want to retrieve the edit test. So here I use a binding. Okay, instead of using the find view by ID. Binding dot the ID of your interested view. Here my interested view is the edit test. The edit test, the ID is the cost of service. Okay, remember the naming the change. Originally, the ID is the cost underscore of underscore the service. And using binding, the name becomes the cost without underscore. And the second word, the first letter become the uppercase. O, F, service, X become the uppercase. Okay, so that's the name change, a formal naming when using the binding. And I want to retrieve the text value. That's what uses input number and convert the input into the typical streamed value. Okay, so I just store the user input into this variable. and then I convert the string into double the value 啊，这个就是一个形态的转换。Convert to the string, convert to the double. So the cost will record the user 的 input number. OK， 这个就是用户输入的数字啊，就会储存到这里来。The second thing is I want to check the user select the radio button. That's the tip option, right? Maybe the user selects 20%, 80%, or 50%. So I want to make sure which button is selected. So let's go back to here. Emulator. Remember, user maybe select this one, or select this one. Here is a radio button. How do I know which button is select? That's quite easy. We need to check the radio group. Remember, these three buttons is included in the same radio group. Radio group is a tip option. That's for the our radio group ID. And we need to check this attribute called check radio button ID. OK， 我们可以从这个属性就知道用户按了哪一个。This attribute will record the ID for the selected button. For example, if the user selects the 20%, the corresponding radio button ID, this one, r.id option 20%, right? So if this attribute is equal to this one, this means the user selects 20%. So here we need to return 0.2 the value to this variable. Tip percentage become the 0.2. If the user selects the second one, we return 0.18 to here. Else, we return the 0.15 to the tip percentage. Okay, so the total tip, that's quite easy. The total cost times the tip percentage. So suppose the input cost is 100 and the select option is the first one. So here is 100 times the 0.2. Okay, so the result becomes the 20. 这个是那个小费的计算的方式。Okay, the final thing is we want to check whether user select the round up. Remember, in our interface, we have the round up, right? That's on the off, on the off. Here is means on. How do I check this state on? That's quite easy. We need to check the switch view, check the is checked attribute. If this value is true, this means the user wants to run up the tip. So if that's true, we will run up. How do we get the run up? We need to use a mathematical function called seal. We got the seal to get the run up value. OK， 这个是取无条件进位啊，就靠这个 seal 无条件进位。OK，run up the number to an integer value. And finally, I want to show the value here. Okay, before show the value, because I want the value has a fixed format, and this format is in numbered format. So here you can see I use a Java API. I need to import. I need to select the Java. That's the typical Java function. Okay. So this function will simply, for example, typically for mining, for example, that's the mining, right? 1, 2, 3, 5. Typically, we will use a 1,000 separator. I mean, that's 1,234. So that's the using the currency notation. Okay. So we will call the function to do the conversion. Okay. Convert 1, 2, 3, 4 into this format using the 1,000 separator 改成有加这个千位符号的这个OK, that's based on this functional format. And also here I want to display the value has a certain pattern. That means I want to have my result to be tip amount, something like that. I want to my result having the fixed format. At beginning, we already show the tip amount, 这是固定的 followed by column and the value. So that's our output format. We can change the format to be a template using this way. Percentage X, that's our template. Percentage X will replace by the actual tipped value. So how do we generate the output template? We can declare the template string into the stream value. OK， 我们要造一个那个输出的固定的样板。我们在这里有一个 string。OK， we need to create a template. I declare a string variable. String name, that's tip amount. Okay, sorry. As a new variable name. The value is our output template. Tip amount. Percentage X. Okay, that's our template, output template. Percentage X will be replaced by a real value. Okay, so here is our template. So go back to our program code. You can see here, we call the get string. This means I want to, from the tip amount variable, get our template and replace the percentage X by the second parameter. Second parameter is the formatted tip, right? That's our tipped value. So this value will replace the percentage X. Okay, so the output will show the tip amount with the real value. And the total string will be assigned to the next text view. Okay, so that's the final program code. Let's try to run our app. Okay, suppose I input that's 100. And amazing default option, and the switch is on. Sorry. And, let's calculate. So you will see it. The value, we can just make the screen more large. Okay, you will see the result. Tip amount with $sign. That's because we call the get currency the format. $sign 20.00. Okay, so you can try to input other the value and other the percentage, calculate. Okay, you will get the value, and then without the switch, yeah, you will get other the number. Okay, so that's for actually I found some minus for example, this should be not switch. Okay, so maybe you can change the messaging on the screen. 这个应该是把它稍微改一下，并不是这样子。Okay, so in this app, we simply demo how to retrieve the user's input. Okay, and based on the button to do some calculation and display the value on a certain text view. Okay, I think you understand how to read such program code. Because in our program, we want to access the view component. Instead of using find view by ID, we can enable the view binding, just like this one. We can enable the view binding. So in our program code, we can use the binding.viewid, binding.viewid, binding.viewid. Okay, we don't need to call the find view by ID. Okay, so that's more the convenient way to access the builder component. Okay. Here I want to mention, actually, I upload a homework for the today's lesson. So maybe I briefly introduce what's the homework assignment. 我们今天又给一个作业啊，不过这个作业蛮简单的。Okay, the homework is showed here. Okay, you need to, because next week is a holiday. Okay, next week 下礼拜不用来啊，放假。Okay, so here is your homework. You need to take about 2 weeks to design such app. This app is called the temperature converter. Okay, so here user can input the temperature, for example, in Celsius, and convert the temperature will become become the Fahrenheit. Okay, shows the value in Fahrenheit, and that's a simple design for this app. So that's for just for show the basic idea. Actually, you can change have your own UI design. So as you can see here, if you have your own UI design, you will get another 10 point. So basically, if you follow this format, you only got the 80%. And also, you can try to add other function. Okay, for example, maybe your design can convert from the Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit. You can to do the double way 的 conversion 哦，也许你可以做双向的温度转换，也可以啊，不一定要照我这个写的。Okay, so that's for the homework. And for this homework, you need to demo the app to my TA. Okay, so during the lecturing time, my TA will be there. 我助教会叫过去啊，你们写完就在课堂中展示给大家看一下。Okay, so that's for homework. Okay, so I think that's all about my today's lesson. Any question? 有没有问题？我今天就这样记得有那个作業這樣。畫面沒有切過去，好，下次直接講的，我都沒看到。好 ，if no questions, so let's end our today's lesson. Thank you, bye bye. 好，大家再見。記得下禮拜放假哦。
老師那個，我想問，這禮拜要交的那個作業，就是那個第3題那個 rectangle， 它的那個 info 是要畫三角形出來嗎？
不用啊，寫文字就好了。
就寫說它的長是多少，寬是多少？
長是多少，寬多少？對，文字。
好，那我了解了，謝謝老師。
好，
那個教授，請問一下，就是你說課堂上展示是我們用 Visual Studio 直接那個模擬器顯示出來就好嗎？
對啊，這模擬器，所以展示就是在課堂用那個模擬器 emulator， 對，不用實際的手機啊。
了解，謝謝。
好，還有沒有？還沒有其他問題？好，沒有那就。